Hi everyone, I'm Tralisha Strambler. I've been a teacher here at Centerville Elementary for 10 years in Garland ISD. Today I will talk to you about Baiboard 3, which is a collaboration tool that you can use with your students so they can meet up, create a lovely project, and then work together while not actually having to be together and sitting next to each other in the classroom. It's a really fun tool. I've been using it probably for about a month now, and I really wanted to present it with you today so that you can start using it in your classroom as well. Okay, so let's get started. As I said before, I'm a teacher here at Centerville Elementary, and I teach 4th grade. With us tonight as our moderator is Frank Garza. He teaches 5th grade at Stedham Elementary. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them, and he can answer them as best as possible. Okay, so today's goal is basically going to be to successfully navigate Baiboard 3. We're going to apply tools within the app and brainstorm ways to use the app with students. To begin, you'll want to download the app from the App Store. This app is available only on iOS devices, which are iPads and iPhones. The app looks like the picture that you see on my screen on the left side that says Baiboard 3. Okay, so once you open the app, it may prompt you to go through a quick welcome screen. This is the home page that I am currently showing you. So once you get finished with that welcome screen, you can you'll see something like this. Now you won't already have a board available. This was just a sample one that we did a while ago. So on this page, you can create a new board. You can view previous boards that you have made, or you can join a meeting. Now, up here where it says Join Meet, that is where you will have your students click if they already know their meeting number, and we'll get to it later about how to create your own meeting so that the kids know what number to put in. If you click on the 3 lines on the top left, you'll get a little home page button. It'll give you a range of options as well as identify your device with a letter and a color. My iPad is a white letter T, and it has a forest green background. If you click on the File folder, you have the option to move the board into a specific folder, or you have some options to delete them. Now, those specific folders are folders that you have already created. So maybe if you have multiple classes or you're sharing iPads, you might want to have them make a folder so they can put all of their boards into a specific folder. So now I'm heading back to the home screen and I'm pushing Add a New Board. When I click on Add a New Board, you'll get a screen that looks like this. I'm just going to title my board All About Angles. So your next screen will look like this. This is a split screen that I'm showing you, so yours is going to look like the one on the left. So on the left side, I have my main board, and there are some editing options across the top. This is your top banner, and from left to right, you have your undo button, you have your redo button, you have your hand symbol, which is pretty much your mouse. You can touch and move objects with this button. Next, you have your pen. And this is an important tool because most of the kids like using the pen function. So on the right side of my screen, I have the pen color banner. In order to actually view this banner, you're going to have to press and hold the pen for a couple of seconds. The color wheel will show like mine, and you just pick a color and the width or thickness that you would like your pen to be. Next to the pen, you have your beveled eraser. If you press and hold it, once again, some erasing options will appear. I have it shown on the left side of my screen. So following the eraser button is the text button. That's the one with the letter A. So on my right side, I have a screenshot of what that text box will look like. It's just a little blank box, and it'll have the flashing line, just like in Word. You can change the font size, and you can also change the font as well. Plus, you'll have access to all of your emojis too. So some of the kids like to put in some of the emojis. Just make sure they are school appropriate. So I chose a pink chalk duster font, and I went back to the hand button so that I could move the title around the board. So just because the text box pops up at the bottom, that doesn't mean that it has to stay there. You can move it all around the screen. So our next button is kind of like this little sparkler looking button. I do have to warn you that this button will change depending on which shape you select, but it is a shape button that you can click on, and you'll have a few options of shapes, lines, arrows, and colors. I'm going to draw some lines and a few shapes and some arrows kind of all around this board. I think I'm going to pick a speech bubble and a little sticky note or post-it note. And so I'll use all of those kinds of things. And there they are. I'm very fast when I do this. So I used a little sticky note, and the fun thing about the sticky note is that you can write inside of the sticky note and then just go back to that hand function, move it all around the screen, put it anywhere you want to go. Same thing with the speech bubble. You can type right inside of it. I also went back to the pen tool, and I identified the angles and degrees, because remember, this is supposed to be a page that's all about angles. So I went through, once I picked some triangles and some stair steps and things like that, and just drew in the angles that I could identify. So make sure, give kids time when you're first having them do this. They're really going to want to draw and just change the colors left and right. I think I gave mine about a good solid 10 minutes for them to just click on every pen tool that was up there so they could just practice with everything to get that excitement out, because it is a little bit of fun. Okay, so lastly, let's look at that paperclip tool that's right here at the end. So when I click on that paperclip, I get a little box that says Add to Canvas. And from here, you can add special pictures and icons from just a variety of sources. I think I'm going to add a photo from my own personal album that's on my iPad. And I'm also going to use some of Baiboard's free icons. One of the tools I like to use is SnapWeb. I love this one because when you click on it, it takes you to a Google search engine. And basically, you just type in what kind of picture you're looking for, or if they're getting something from Pics for Learning, that's definitely something you should do in school. Make sure you have copyright-free pictures. But basically, once you find the picture that you like, a little camera button will pop up, and you just click on the camera, and it basically takes the screenshot for you and puts it right into the Baiboard. You don't have to worry about, taking a screenshot with the device and then putting it into your album and then going from your album and putting it into the board. It will just send it there automatically. So that's a fun tool to use, is this SnapWeb pick. Another function you can do is clicking on one of these icons. I'll get into that just a little bit later, but I did want to show you some examples of adding photos from my own album and adding icons from the Baiboard. So it would look a little bit like this. So we were doing some Alamo stuff. So I went and took a couple of pictures, and I added the angles in that picture. And these that are black, I went through from the free icons from Baiboard and just added these pictures in here too. And then I went through back to the pen tool and labeled them, changed the color of the pen. As you can see, kids really like to change the colors of the pen. Okay, so I told you I was going to show you just a little bit of examples of some of the free icons that are available. So once again, you click on that paperclip button, and then you just go down to where it has the different icons. And this is what some of the icons look like in the education section. There is a whole lot of sections for you to look through. So I'm just in the education and design, and these are cute, and yes, they are free and they are available for your use, as many of them as you would like to use. Put them all over the board if you like. Okay, so next I want you to look at the bottom left corner of your screen. You're going to see 3 dots. And when you click on those 3 dots, I want you to select Start a Meet. So this is the important piece about collaborating with the students, because at this point, you've only been doing things on your own. But I want to make sure the kids are working together on a project. So basically, once you have the leader or the designated leader of the group chosen, have them click those 3 little buttons, have them click to Start Meet, and when they do that, you'll get maybe a little uploading screen will appear, and that's fine. It's just trying to generate a meet number for that group. It takes a short time. So when it's done uploading, you will go back to, it will take you back to your page 1, but now there's going to be a little meet number in the bottom center of your screen, right here. So my meet number is 1208643. And you will want them to share this number with you, plus anyone else that is in the group. This number, you might want to have them write it down somewhere in case they're going to work on it at home, because you can do this from your phone as well. So if they aren't at school that day, maybe they're homesick or in the hospital, they have a broken leg or something like that, they can still contribute to the group even though they are not at school. So this is the number that you'll have to use if you want people to join your board for a meeting. That's why it's called a meet. So you will also notice that my device logo has suddenly appeared in the left side of the screen as well. When someone joins your board or your meet, their logo will appear next to yours. So I know that Tralisha is here, and if someone else were to join my board, their device will be identified on my screen as well. So I can see how many people are working on the same project as I am. At this time, there is an unidentified number of people that can collaborate. I think I've had as many as 10. With elementary school students, you know, we did 10. That was a pretty crazy time because everybody is just popping in things left and right. So I know now to keep it around 4 to 5 is my max. Okay, so now everyone will know who is logged in and who is collaborating with you. Moreover, if you run out of space on your board, just so you know, just click that page number on the bottom right of your screen and it'll open up another page. It's like turning a page in a book. So it'll be a nice clean page and somebody can start working on page 2. So I have that identified here and here. Okay, so next, if you tap the 3 dots after you've created a meet, you'll get some extra options this time. Your meet number is clearly identified, but you can invite participants. There's one for voice, one for presentation mode, and there's one to take a snapshot. I clicked on take a snapshot because it will save the way the board currently looks as a kind of a backup board. So if everyone does a snapshot, or if just the leader person or anyone does a snapshot, it will save it as a separate board, just in case someone in the group, you know, decides to work on the project alone when everybody else is sleeping and goes through and delete things before turning it in, or they just completely mess up the board. If you take that snapshot, you can go back to the way it originally looked, and that one's not part of the meet, so then you can just open up another meet from that board. It actually is a little bit of a lifesaver because I had a couple of kids that were doing things they weren't supposed to do, and them already having that snapshot basically saved their whole project because somebody who wasn't as tech savvy did delete things that they weren't supposed to delete, and they couldn't get those pictures back. So it was nice to have that snapshot as the backup. So this is just the next screen. You know, once you take the snapshot, you'll press OK. It will ask you if you want to take a snapshot, and you just click OK from there. So on this slide, I am showing you basically two more boards. I wanted to show you that. This first one that just says board, that's the snapshot one. The one that has the meet number, this is the one that everybody is collaborating on. So if I click on this one that just says board, I am the only one that can make changes. No one else will be able to see this unless I create a new meet. But if I don't create a new meet, or if I just want to continue working on the old one, then I can just simply click on this and then eventually just get rid of this one. Once again, I personally like to use this function in my math class because everybody is putting in so many different pictures and objects at one time. Sometimes it's just overwhelming for some kids. So we're kind of getting down towards the end, and so I told you that we were going to successfully navigate through it, which we have done. I also said that I would give you some time to play around with some of the tools, so I do want to take a few minutes of quiet time for you to just kind of mess around a little bit with it, so I'll give you a chance. And while you're playing with that, I just want to make sure you understand that the best way to really start using this tool is by practicing at home. That's what I did. I was just sitting around and thinking about a topic that we are already discussing in class, and I just started drawing things and pushing different buttons, finding pictures that will match, and once I did that, I really got into it and was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I can really do this. And, you know, adults, it takes us a little bit longer. The kids, they catch on to it so quickly. They were finding out things faster than I knew. So I was like, okay, you guys share it with me. If you find something cool, share it with me, and I'll be sure to share it with everyone else. So lastly, I wanted to discuss some ways that you could use this in your classroom. The first thing that comes to mind is as your new Avid one-pagers, which you can make it now 2-pagers or 3-pagers. But this is a really, really fun thing to do because sometimes your Avid one-pagers can be limited to, you know, finding pictures and printing them off and cutting out pictures. And, you know, we're getting very close to the end of the school year, so I know that computer ink, the printer ink is getting low, and they're telling you not to print as much. Make sure it goes to the copy machine. Don't use as much paper. So this is definitely a way to make your classroom paperless. Everybody in my class, they love doing this for their one-pagers because it allows for so much more creativity. For your ones that can't really draw very well, it gives them a whole lot of options in finding their pictures online and putting them in, and it's in color, so you don't have to worry about the black and white ink. They love the extra icons that Baiboard has available, so I would definitely love using it as my one-pagers. My other students who do the TPSP, they love using this because they use it as their culminating project posters. So they take pictures of all of the activities that they've been working on for maybe a novel study, and they take pictures of each item that they have made, or a writing sample, things like that, and they put them all into their board so that it's a nice collage of things that they've worked on, and they can annotate it. And so it's really good to have all of the nice annotations on there. Another way to use it is for your history projects. If you are researching a person in history, instead of having them, I mean, they can always type up and then take a picture and put it onto their board, but they can also put their notes and things like that on this board as well. It's great to use as your, at the beginning of the year. I have the kids doing all about me, but I'm thinking next year I can use this as their all about me, because they can put their name really big and then find pictures or write things that represent themselves. So I think that would be really cool. And then of course we'll just put it up on Air Server, and then the kids can learn to share it that way as well. So I thought that was a good idea. Finally, you can use it, of course, in science. You can embed. I haven't tried to embed any videos or anything like that yet, so that will be definitely something that I can start looking into to see if you can put in, embed any videos, but definitely something to try to see if you can do that. As always, you should have your students talk about safety protocol, guidelines, things like that, making sure that they're not taking pictures and passing it off as their own work. Make sure you know the meet number for each group, because if you don't know the meet number, then you kind of won't know what the kids are really working on. So if you have that meet number, you can join at any time. You can even make contributions to their group. And then you can get out when you're finished and move on to the next meet. And you can do all of that while walking around the room and keeping an eye on what everybody is doing. So I do want to thank you for watching. And my advice to you is just to practice with this app. And there's so many more functions for you to explore. So happy exploring. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Frank, for moderating. You can find me at tkstram@garlandisd.net, or you can see me on Twitter at @tkstram. I'll be the one with the Mario mushroom head. And goodbye.